Hi everyone and welcome to KNES 210. This is Motor Skill Acquisition and Performance. My name is Brett Briskowski. I'm going to be your instructor this semester. This is my second year teaching this course, and so some things I learned from last year doing this class that I wanted to try to improve on a little bit this year. There's certain things that I did last year that I'm going to keep the same. And so this video is just going to kind of summarize what this semester is going to look like for you guys, so you're not lost at any point. So I've got the course outline right in front of me here. And what I want you guys to kind of take away from this is not just what we're going to be covering, but how we're going to cover that content. So as you guys have probably figured out by looking at this right off the bat, is that I don't have any scheduled office hours. So if you do need to access me, you guys are going to email me, and then we can always set up a Zoom call or meet on campus at some point. This is not my only job. I actually have 3. Those of you who know about Excel Physical Therapy, you guys know that I work there as well. I work as a full-time physiotherapist, and then I teach on the side at the college here. So there's lots of things going on in my life, so I'm not always accessible on campus. In fact, I'm very rarely on campus. So to get into the course content itself, we are going to be using McGraw-Hill Connect. So you guys will be using the textbook that's listed here. I'll show you guys that in a second. So you will need to get the McGraw-Hill Connect textbook in order to complete this course. So it is a requirement, and the reason you need that is because you need to be able to complete the online quizzes that are through McGraw-Hill Connect, and also so you can do the chapter reviews that I will touch on in a second here. So that's first things first. Moving on, you guys can see there's some certain objectives and course content that's listed here. I'm not going to go through this. You guys can read that on your own. So we can just move into how we're assessing what you're doing. So you can see here the SmartBook chapter reviews are going to be worth 20% of your grade. Now, I laid this out because I figured that I wanted to be really fair to you guys. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to acquire as much of your grade as possible, and these SmartBook chapter reviews are literally a free 20%. If you complete them, if you go through the entire thing, which should take you, I don't know, roughly an hour or so per unit, it's a free 20%. So just do them. It's easy. They all open up on day 1 of the course, and so you can do them at any time. And if you want to do all 6 chapter reviews in the first week and get your 20% right off the bat, be my guest. If you want to do it as you go through the content, that's fine. If you want to stress yourself out and do it right at the end of the course, you can do that too. Next is quizzes. So quizzes are weekly. You're going to have 1 or 2 every week for the entire semester, excluding reading week, obviously. And you'll get 30 minutes per quiz. It is timed. It is open book. And so you can do that quiz anytime between 8 a.m. when I open the quizzes on Monday morning of that week, all the way until 11:59 p.m. of the week that it is due. So quizzes will open weekly for that particular unit, and your job is to complete that quiz at any time during the week between that Monday at 8 a.m. and that Friday at 11:59 p.m. that evening. So the beauty of this course for you guys is that there's flexibility. You do not have to rely on me or any particular time to do this quiz because it will be run online. And so you guys have the freedom to fit in this course in between all your other courses that you'll be taking during the semester. So I wanted to give you guys as much flexibility as possible because I know, number 1, that you guys are adults, and number 2, that you guys have other crap going on in your lives, and I want to give you guys a little bit more freedom to do this course kind of at your own pace a little more. So that's how quizzes are going to work. Cumulatively over the entire course, it's going to be worth 40%. So each quiz is roughly valued at about 2% because there's going to be 19 quizzes total. So just a hair over 2% per quiz. And then finally you have your final project. That's worth 40%. It's a presentation. It is basically a skill that you're going to pick, something that you've never done before, and you're going to track over the semester how you learn that skill. And you may or may not learn it perfectly, but I want to see how you use the concepts that we teach you in class and apply that to your presentation, and then come in front of a group of people at the end of the semester and actually physically present that presentation. So that essentially, that 40% final project is going to act as your final exam, which means that you do not have a final exam in this course. You have chapter reviews to do worth 20, you have quizzes to do worth 40, and you have a final project worth 40, so a total of 100% that is possible to get here. So that is how you're going to be assessed in this course. Other than that, this is pretty straightforward stuff. I'm not going to go through the academic dishonesty stuff. Obviously, you guys should know by now, cheating is not allowed, copying people is not allowed. It shouldn't be an issue in this course. So just make sure that you guys are being honest and have some integrity as you go through the rest of the semester. But that is the course outline. We're going to move on. We are going to actually head to the Blackboard section. So this is kind of what you guys are going to see on Blackboard. I know this is the instructor view, but you guys will see obviously the home page as you have on every other course that you've taken up to this point. You guys are going to see these headings on the left-hand side here. So course content and live classroom are going to be the most relevant ones. If I don't have a recorded lecture, which most of the time I will still go into this live classroom at times, and I may present quote unquote online. That would be on Monday mornings in case we need to catch up on some content or I need to touch on any particular things. Or if we do have all the content recorded, I will every so often pop in on here and I will let you guys know when that is so that you guys can come meet me to ask me any questions, or if you want to go over your final project, etc., 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 you will have time to do so. But for course content, you guys are going to go into this folder. You will see the course outline in there. You will see the schedule that I've created for you guys that I will show you guys in a second. You'll see some McGraw-Hill Connect stuff, so your instructions and how you actually log on and get that content and get that textbook that you need. And then every unit that is laid out, color-coded here, units 1 to 6, that will have all of the links to the chapter reviews as well as the links to the quizzes as well that you need to complete. So just make sure you are referencing back to the schedule in order to make sure you're completing these units on time. We're also going to pick these skills, so we will have a time in class at some point where I will ask you, hey, what skill do you guys want to do? We may even do this on day one, just so that we can kind of cover our bases. And if you have something that you want to learn and you want to do throughout the semester, you indicate that to me. Nobody can do the same thing, so everyone's doing something individual, and then you have to have that skill in within the first couple weeks of the semester. And then finally you have your final project, so all your rubric, everything in there, I will drop that in there as well, so you guys can reference back to that too. So that is the summary on Blackboard, and now we're going to move into the schedule. So if I pull up the schedule here, I have everything written here for you guys. Literally day by day what we're going to do, unless there's any last minute changes that need to happen for, let's say, any emergency purposes or illness or anything like that. this is how the semester will run from week to week. So if you need to reference anything, you go onto this schedule document and you read it thoroughly. You will find everything you need to know and when you need to have everything done week by week. So more or less, the way that I lay this course out is I give you lots of freedom and I allow you guys to have some liberties a little bit on, when you complete stuff and, how you decide to kind of manage through the content. But at the end of the day, you guys are responsible for following this schedule unless we collectively, or if I make any changes to the schedule laid out here, and I will indicate that to you if that does happen. So go week by week, read through, you'll get an exact idea of what you are going to be doing and when things are going to be happening moment by moment. Next, your final project rubric. So this I will let you guys read through as well, but basically what I encouraged people to do last semester, and people who did really, really well, is when they went through this rubric, if they kind of started working on their presentation as they were going, and they started filling in some of the blanks in their presentation for these little things that I want you to hit from each unit, then they did super, super well because they were really well prepared. They had gone through their presentation multiple times before it actually came to their presentation date. So I found people who kind of completed this as they went along through the semester did fantastic. People who put it all together last minute, I found it was a bit messy, not really well thought out. Sometimes you forget things back from unit 1, that if you continuously kind of work on this as the semester goes on, you won't lose the learning process of that. And so you'll feel a lot more prepared when you come to your presentation at the very end of the semester. So that covers the schedule, that covers the rubric, and now we're going to move on to the actual ebook itself. So when you guys come on to McGraw-Hill Connect, you guys are going to eventually see that you're going to have to log on. You're going to have to get access to this content. So I'm just going to log in here just so that you guys can kind of see what I am talking about when we deal with this. So when we get on to McGraw-Hill Connect, if I can log on here, is you're going to have your course content pop up. Now this is the instructor view. Yours will look a little bit different, so it's going to look a little bit more like this. And so you guys are going to say, okay, I want to be able to read this textbook. So you guys will click on that. You guys will be able to see all the content. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you kind of how it's laid out. So you're going to be using this Motor Learning and Control Concepts and Application textbook, the 12th edition, that I will send a link to you guys for on day 1. In the table of contents, you guys are going to see that there is 6 units, and these are the units we're going to be covering. In each one of these units, I basically cover the stuff in the discussion section of each unit. So if you guys need to go deal with anything content-wise, you can basically just skip into the discussion part of each unit or each chapter, and you will find the content that I want you to focus on. Now what I've done here in these, and what I'm going to be doing in these recorded lectures is I'm going to be showing you guys the things I want you to focus on. So there's not going to be fluff, there's not going to be messing around. You guys are just going to know what you need to know in order for you guys to, number 1, learn what you need to do for your final project, and number 2, learn what you need to know for your quizzes. So when you come to your quiz, even if it's open book, because it will be, then you're going to be able to go back to this content and you're going to be able to say like, hey, I knew what to focus on because, I was kind of guided on where to go. And you won't have to be like leafing through things. Remember, you only have half an hour to do the quiz. If you're messing around trying to look for certain things, you're going to have a hard time finding what you need to know unless you have things highlighted, which I do in these lectures. So you can see on my screen that this discussion section is highlighted. And when you guys get your books, none of what you have will be highlighted. You know, like I'm not going to have this thing highlighted for you. You come back, you do this lecture with me. You can highlight things as we go along, and then you guys will have a better understanding of what to know, like I said, for your quizzes and for your final project as well. So that covers the McGraw-Hill Connect portion. Sorry that was a little bit messy with the login, but you guys have a pretty good idea of how that's all going to go down now. So you've been walked through an introduction to me, the course outline, Blackboard, the schedule, the presentation rubric, and McGraw-Hill Connect in this video. I'm going to try and keep the lecture videos as short as I possibly can so that you guys don't have to feel like you're watching hours and hours of video, and I don't feel like I have to make hours and hours of video, and we can use that in-person class time to you know, go through content, make sure you guys understand what you're going through. So I'm willing to spend a little bit more time with that. So what you guys will notice here on the schedule is that on Monday I will either present you guys with more of this online content that you can go through, this recorded content, and then on Wednesdays I'll meet you guys in person in the classroom. We can go back through some of the content, we can review some examples, we can do a little bit more, you know, involved learning instead of just me reading something out to you. And then on the Fridays you guys will have the quizzes to go through, which you guys obviously can do on your own time, anytime throughout the week. As you can see, the quizzes will open on the Monday and they will close at 11:59 on the Friday. So that's it for this video. I'm going to leave this at this point. If you have any questions, obviously you guys can reach out to me. My email's in the course outline, and I will talk to you on the next video.